Alright, so here we are with our tutorial for the makeup for Revenge of the Black Widow. This is my Black Widow theatrical look. It's very over the top, not something that you would wear every day, but quite perfect if you want to be a Black Widow. So here we go. I've already done my, my face makeup, so I put on primer, liquid foundation, and concealer in the areas that I needed it, and then powder. I'm not going to go over that because I'm trying to save time on this tutorial. There's plenty of tutorials about how to do that, so I don't think that I need to. So we're just going to go straight to the eye makeup. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put on a primer on my eyes and all around as well. We're going to have the makeup's going to come all the way up to the sides and down here, so I want to have it stay on really well. So I'm using this primer from Deborah Lee Designs, and it's light. It's called a shadow magnet primer. And it's kind of sticky, and it'll just make a nice base. And I've already put on my foundation and everything on my eyelids as well. We want to create a really nice base for our shadows to stick to. So I'm just going to use my fingers and just work that in gently. The next thing that I want to do is put on some tape onto the corners of my eyes. And the reason is that we want a really precise line here. We're really going to bring the eyeshadow out and exaggerate, make an exaggerated eye shape. So we want to get a pretty good sized piece of tape because we're going to bring it out really far. And what you want to do is imagine that the line, your lower lash line, it comes around. Imagine if this line here was continuing out. You want to line up your tape along that same trajectory, a touch higher for this look. Normally you would just want to line it up, but here we want to get it a little bit higher than with the normal. So if the line was here, we want to get it just a little bit higher right here with the tape. Oops. There we go. Okay, so I'm using MAC 249. It's a big round brush. If you don't have very many brushes, just pick one. Make sure it's an eyeshadow brush. Not really that big of a deal here. I kind of like a bigger one versus a smaller one because I'm going to put this on a lot of my lid, so I want to be able to cover a little bit more area. So I'm going to start from the corner and work my way out with this black. And being very careful along the tape not to push against it. You probably want to go on top of it, but not pushing against where the tape is applied, because you don't want to wind up getting shadow underneath it. So I'm going to be quite liberal here with how I apply this. All right, now next thing that we're going to do is set this with some black powder. So I just have a Sephora palette here. Any black eyeshadow is fine. So I'm just applying this over the top of what I've just done, and then I'm going to work it out a little bit over the top of that, a little bit past that line. And you can already see that by adding this, it softens the edges of this black line here. Okay. So before I blend this line, I'm going to add a little bit of color along the edge of it to blend into it. And it's going to be like a sort of a medium gray. I'm taking the same palette. I have a little bit of gray here. At this point, if you wanted to add a little bit of color, like I think a little bit of red would be cool too, although I'm going to do red on the bottom. I'd say any kind of like a gray or even like a dark purple would be okay. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of color on there. I'm going to go ahead and blend it out together. I'm going to blend those two colors together. And blend the gray out. So I've got that. So now what I'm going to do is add a little bit of white along the top, along the brow bone here for the highlight. And you're really not supposed to blow on your makeup, but I do it. I think that's more for makeup artists. If it's your own makeup, no big deal. So again, I'm tapping that along my brow bone, up along the edge here. And I'm going to bring that in. So just all along the edge of where your gray finishes, you're going to bring this white. And I like to bring it up and out a little bit here too. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this black cream. I'm going to apply this over again. But this time I'm going to stay just on the lid. I'm not going to go up much higher. I'm going to bring a little bit of a wing out, but mainly I'm going to stay within this lid. Go right up, just maybe just slightly above the crease there, and then wing it out just a bit. You want to work relatively quick here because we don't want it to dry. We want to put the glitter on before it dries. Alright, so I've got this glitter here. It's black, kind of a peacock. There's little, you know, it's black, but it's got hints of like this, the greens and the little bit of blues and purples in it. So I'm just going to take my brush and then I'm going to push it on to this wet cream shadow here. Now if you do not have glitter or you don't want to use glitter, that's okay. Just set it again with black powder. We want it to be really dark and intense here, so using another layer of cream and powder is going to help that really deepen that. So, oh, I just love this. I love this glitter so much. Alright. Okay, so picking up, so what I did was I took the tape off and I started applying the red, and I realized that I really needed to clean up a little bit more as far as the concealer and base go. So what I did was I just sort of wiped where the tape was, and then I put some more of this base, sticky eyeshadow base, to sort of just clean up this area. So one thing when you take the tape off is really clean it up and then reapply that base a little bit. And you'll be good to go. So again, we're just sort of following this line. I'm not going to bring it all the way up to this other line because I'm going to be applying other colors here, so I just want to sort of get a rough idea and work this down. And I'm working this out all the way sort of to the edge here. And work it out to the edge and then down. And bring it in. So what you're doing is sort of making a little bit of a triangle shape here. It's not going to be, again, it's not going to be like a hard line or a hard shape, it's just sort of a general shape. So just sort of cleaning it up now and making sure it all follows this sort of downward direction. Alright, it's looking scary already. So next thing I'm going to do before I move on is I'm going to drop line my my waterline. And this is the part where if you haven't done it a lot, it gets to be a little bit uncomfortable. It's not something you're experienced doing, especially if you're uncomfortable touching the close parts of your eye. But I'm going to demo it here, and with a little bit of patience and practice, it's no big deal. So I am going to do the top and the bottom. What you're going to do is just follow underneath your lash line and sort of work it up into the lash line. And what it's going to do is it's really going to deepen and darken your lash line and make this look more intense. Alright, so once you've done the top, and you can see the difference, right, between my two eyes, it really starts to darken your lash line, makes it look really intense. So now we're going to do the bottom. Make sure your fingers are clean and sort of just pull. I pull a little bit to get it more exposed, and then I do my waterline on the bottom like this. Now I can hold my eye open for a considerable amount of time before blinking. Some of you might be like, blink, blink. That's okay. Do you like my sound effects? Alright, so I've got that on the bottom. What I'm going to do is just sort of blend it out. I want this line on the bottom to be thick. What I don't want to do is just to keep applying makeup to make it thicker, because then the makeup's going to continue to run down. So what I'm going to do is just blend it out. I'm going to utilize what I have and blend it out. And now I have this little blending, it's like a foamy blending tip here. You can use a Q-tip, but you'll have to reapply and do it all. It's a little bit more difficult with the Q-tip. Alright, again, we're going to leave it at the edge because I'm going to be doing a separate line. And I don't want to futz with that right now because I want to use a liquid liner for that. So, now that we've got that, I'm going to use just a teeny, I'm going to use a little bit of powder to set it. So I'm going to take a very, very thin brush, something thin and tiny like this, and take some more of my black powder, and just and this is where we have to be very careful about not putting too much on, because we don't want a lot of fallout. We just put all this red on, so we got to be careful about that. And I have a little bit already, so I'm probably going to have to go back and do a little tape and then reapply the red. So next what we're going to do is work with a black liquid liner, and I'm going to line the top just to really deepen that as well, and then I'm going to line the, I'm going to bring that out into the corner, maybe bring this corner out a little bit, and then I'm going to create a second wing here along the bottom. This part can be a little bit tricky, so be patient. Now when you get to the outer edge, you want to just follow the line that you already have. So I'm bringing this in quite a bit and then hooking it towards sort of over into where the red is. You see that? So now we've got this nice dramatic inner corner. Keep looking at my camera. So now I'm going to follow parallel to this line. I'm going to create a second line, but along where I have the red here actually. So you want to have a little space in between them. That's kind of why I use the red. The red's a little bit more forgiving than the black. So you kind of have a guide here with your red. And just sort of bringing it in. So I want it to be a relatively thick black line here. Okay. So now that we've got that, what I'm going to do is take this silvery, it's a Smashbox Longwear liquid eyeliner. It's a silver like glitter. You could also use a white, but it needs to be really shiny, something really not a matte white. You could use a very shiny, if you had a really shiny like white liner or powder even, I would say if the powder is maybe, if you can get it, if it's a loose powder, you could dump a teeny bit out, mix it with the littlest bit of water and get a little tiny brush like this, because you want to be able to be very exact. You don't want fallout, which you'll get if you just put powder on, so find a way to make it liquid. So then we're just going to fill it in. Okay, I'm putting a little bit past the black line there, but you get the idea. So this sort of widens your eye and helps make it really intense. So next thing I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to clean up my fallout a little bit. Oh wait, no, I have a little extra surprise here, and this is not imperative if you have access to red glitter. What we're going to do is put a little bit along the bottom of the eye. So I have this, eye candy has this little, it's like a base used to apply it. You can also use like eyelash glue, that would work too. So I'm just going to have this little tiny brush, I'm going to get it wet, and I'm going to run it through my glitter, pick up a little bit of that glitter, and then I'm going to put that along the bottom. And that looks rather, sorry I keep bumping my camera, that looks rather intense. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Alright, so put that aside for the other side. Yes, so next I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and then we'll work on the brows and the lashes. Alright, so I've cleaned it up a little bit, I retouched up the red blush shadow here. So next thing we're going to do is the brows. And what I'm going to do is I have this loose, Savage Jenny has an eye, it's brow and liner set, so I'm using the dark brown. You could use black for this and that would be fine, but I kind of, because there's so much black already, I'm going to stay away from that. The show we're doing is also during the day. If it was, you know, a bigger show with more, you know, with a full-on stage like theatrical lighting and it was at nighttime, I would probably do black, but I'm going to do brown for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my brush with this Mist and Fix. And the reason is I want to use my my brow color. It's a loose powder and I want it to be liquid because I don't want brown to be falling out all over the makeup I just did. So I'm going to wipe that off a tad so I have just a little bit of moisture, and then I'm going to mix it with this brown and make a little bit of a liquid color here. What I do is I like to start along the bottom of my lash, or the bottom of my eyebrow. And this is quite dark. I mean, you could do black, but this is really quite dark. And it's nice the way the brush is angled. It helps me follow my natural line a little bit better. So what I'm going to do when I get towards the end is instead of going down, I'm going to cheat and pull up a bit. It looks quite severe and intense, but this is what we're going for. This is very theatrical. This is definitely a macabre sort of piece, so this is what I want. I really want it to be intense as we dare to make it. I'm going for a bit more of an extreme angle at the end too. I'm bringing it down like just the teeniest little bit down more on this front edge than my natural line is. Alright, now what I'm going to do, because it's a little bit, and I want to blend this edge out a little, I'm going to take a Q-tip and just sort of blend this edge out just a touch. And make sure not to continue wiping it. You don't want to actually work it out more. You're just blending the edge, softening the edge a little bit. Not too much, because we're going for some intensity here. So we've got this nice, intense line. And so now we're going to move on to the lashes. So I'm just going to put on I'm going to curl my lashes and put on some mascara, and then I'll show you how to do the false lashes that I'm using for this. Alright, so I've got all my makeup on and we're moving on to lashes. I curled and put mascara on my lashes already. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these, I have these fun sort of theatrical lashes. The bigger the better. I mean, these are kind of chunky and thick, which I like, but any big thick lashes will work. So I'm just going to take my eyeliner, I can't talk today, my eyelash glue. I'm going to put this on my lashes just along the edges. And I'm going to need to get some new lash glue soon because this stuff is looking pretty used up, and make it pretty thick. And also you want to just bend them and work them into this U shape a little bit, and then I put them to dry. They do need to be relatively tacky before you put them on your eye. Now the other thing that I like to do, you don't have to, I feel like it gives me extra like insurance with the whole eyelash staying on thing, especially some of these theatrical ones. They're very thick and they want to pop up, which is why we use them to try and help them keep the shape. But what I like to do is to take a little bit of this eyelash glue and put it along where the lashes are going to go, and I have this little sticking out part, so I got to make sure that doesn't touch anything. I probably should just trim that, although I just need new glue anyway, so just put that along where the lashes are going to go. When it dries, clear. It's just taking a little while to dry, but what I do is I don't use tweezers or anything. You can. I try to line up this outer edge first, and then I work it in to this corner, and then I hold the edges down. Alright, so I've got my false lashes on. We're getting close to the end here. So next I'm going to do a little bit of contouring, and I'm going to use this it's a very, very dark brown. It's on my Lorac Tantalizer. It's a duo, like a highlighter and a matte. So we've already we got some blush going here. So basically what we're just going to do is create a contour to add more dimension and shape to our face. So let's start at the cheekbones. So if you suck your cheeks in, the hollow of your cheeks right there is where you want to fill this in and sort of bring it up into the red that you have. Now if you really wanted to look super demonic and scary with this, like really creepy, you could use like a gray to contour your face. It would make you look really unearthly, which I'm staying away from here. I don't feel like we want to go quite that far. And yeah, I'm just going to stick with the regular contour. And so I'm going to do it under my chin, just under your chin line here. And this is really, for stage performance, this is a must. If you're just, if you're doing this for Halloween, you probably don't need to worry about that. I'm going to do along the sides of my temple just a bit here. And then I'm going to take a flat brush, and I'm going to do the sides of my nose. I probably normally want to use a smaller one, but I don't have one that's clean right now. So we're just going to bring it in along the sides of the nose. And we will blend this. So depending on how you want your nose to look, you might bring it in a little more, bring it out a little bit more, and then bring it around your nostril and blend it out. So I'm just going to take my finger and blend it out here. Make sure your hands are clean if you have any other makeup that you might have put on. And then we're going to take a highlighter color, which you can just use the white that you used earlier, on your brow bone, and take that along the bridge here. A little bit along the top of your cheeks, and meet it in with that red. And maybe a little bit along the sides of your nose. So you've got a contour and highlight so your face is more 3D. So next we're going to do lips and then embellishment. Sorry. So for the lips, you want to use a black liner, a dark, almost wine red for the edges, liner, and then a lighter, it's still pretty dark red, but a lot lighter than this red for the center, and then you have a red cream color. So we're just gonna line the lips with the black. Alright, so once we've done that, we're going to take this dark purplish red, and we're going to fill in the corners, the outer corners, like the outer third of our lip. Okay, this came in a bit far, but that's okay because we're going to use the red in the center now, and we'll even it out. Okay. Now on top of that, oh, we also want to use our red glitter again. If you have it, this is where it really looks amazing. So next, we're going to fill it in, the entire lip with the red cream. Then we're going to blot quickly and then apply the glitter in the center. So, let's do the red here. Bring it out as close to the edges as you dare. Got a little extra, but we're just going to blot it off. It'll be fine. And then while it's still wet, take a little bit of glitter on your finger and apply it just to the center. And you have some truly scrumptious lips. Next, we're going to do the embellishments. So, what would this look be? This Black Widow look without having some spider webs? So, you can do it either maybe just a little on one side, a little on both sides. You could have a little more on this side and maybe a little less on this side. I kind of would like for this to be a little asymmetrical for me, but you can make them matching and perfect if you want. So what you want to do is just start drawing a web any old place that you would like to see. So I'm just going to extend this line here and then draw a spider web design. I'm going to bring it up even a little bit more here. And so what we're going to do to make this really pop, we're going to smear a little bit of it. Imagine if the light hits it and it creates a shadow in one corner of each web. So we're just going to smear it a little bit here and there. And then we're going to go back over it with a liquid. Alright, so a little bit of a break, costume change, camera died on me, so finishing up this look, what I did was I created these spider webs using the pencil liner, and then I smudged them a little bit in the corners of each little section, and then I went over it with a liquid liner. This makes it look a little more 3D, and so I did some on the other side as well. You can see right there. And then I had this cool little embellishment I got at some random boutique. This isn't necessary. I mean, you could paint on a spider or you could just not do it at all. It looks really cool with just the web. So anyway, this is my finished look. It's a little messed up now because I went and had dinner in the interim, but anyway, you get the idea. This is a Black Widow look, so I'm going to be doing a tutorial for the hair next, so yeah, stay tuned for that.